What if I told you the biggest lie in modern wrestling isn't a storyline at all? It's the belief that John Cena buried CM Punk, because the uncomfortable truth is that without John Cena, CM Punk's legendary rise might have been quietly erased before it ever even mattered. When CM Punk started catching fire in 2011, WWE wasn't built to reward voices like his. It was built to control them, to smooth them out, and to replace them when they got too loud. Punk was everything the company playbook told you to avoid. He was outspoken, confrontational, anti-authority, and visibly uninterested in playing the grateful company man. In pretty much any other era, that attitude would have made him radioactive backstage. Fans remember the pipe bomb as this revolutionary, game-changing moment. But revolutions don't survive unless someone powerful decides not to crush them. And in 2011, John Cena was the one man in WWE with enough influence, enough power, to let that moment live. At the absolute peak of his power, Cena was untouchable. He was Vince McMahon's ultimate success story, the merchandise king, the media-safe superhero who could have shut CM Punk down with a single unscripted line or one political move backstage. But he didn't. Instead, he chose to do something far riskier. He chose to help him. Cena understood the temperature of the audience long before the company itself admitted it. He sensed that fans were exhausted by corporate perfection and were starving for authenticity. And CM Punk represented everything WWE wasn't brave enough to fully embrace. During their feud, Cena didn't just do business. He sacrificed pieces of his own carefully crafted image to make Punk feel real, dangerous, and credible. Think about it. He stood in the ring and let Punk dismantle him on the microphone, night after night. Punk questioned his integrity, his loyalty, his authenticity, and his role as the company's hand-picked hero. He tore down the very foundation of the John Cena brand, and Cena just stood there and took it. He didn't demand to win every verbal exchange. He didn't try to undercut Punk's points with a cheap comeback. He didn't rush the moment or save himself with some scripted moral high ground. He absorbed it all because he knew that if Punk didn't feel dangerous, the entire story would die on the vine. The biggest star in the industry let a guy who was, at the time, a professional agitator make him look weak, compromised, and out of touch. Why? Because it served the bigger story. Then came Money in the Bank 2011 in Chicago. Cena agreed to lose. He agreed to lose in Punk's hometown, a building practically vibrating with hostility towards him. And not just lose, but lose clean. There were no shortcuts, no screwy finishes designed to protect Cena's character or quietly cool Punk off afterward. He treated Punk like an equal, like a peer, at a time when the system still viewed him as a problem child. And backstage, that kind of validation matters more than any championship belt. Let's be clear, WWE listens to John Cena. When Cena believes in someone, doors don't slam shut as quickly. Punk's negativity, his sharp tongue, his refusal to conform, all of that could have easily been reframed backstage as locker room poison, but Cena's cooperation and willingness to work with him reframed it as passion, intensity, and edge. Cena's stamp of approval gave Punk cover. The narrative that Punk was buried by Cena exists because fans often confuse dominance with sabotage. But dominance isn't what buries a career, indifference is. A top guy simply ignoring you, refusing to work with you, that's the kiss of death. And Cena was never, ever indifferent to Punk. He actively made space for him. He understood that Punk wasn't trying to replace him as the top guy. He was trying to challenge the system that Cena represented. And that tension, that's what made the feud so electric. Without Cena playing the role of the corporate lightning rod, Punk's rebellion has no face to rebel against. Without Cena standing there and taking those verbal shots week after week, Punk's words don't echo nearly as loud. Without Cena legitimizing him through clean, high-stakes competition, Punk doesn't feel like a true main eventer. He just feels like another loud voice screaming into the void. Even after Punk won the WWE Championship, and you could feel the unease from management about where this was all going, Cena continued to treat him like he belonged at that level. And the rest of the locker room notices that kind of endorsement. Wrestlers follow the behavior of the top guys, and Cena's actions sent a clear message to everyone. Punk isn't a phase, he isn't a fluke, and he isn't a mistake. He's real. Ironically, when Punk eventually walked away from WE a few years later, the machine didn't stop. Cena remained the constant, proving that he never needed to protect his spot from Punk in the first place. His position was secure, but Punk's rise? That specific magical moment in time only existed because Cena allowed the system to bend instead of snap. The pipe bomb wasn't dangerous just because of the words Punk said. It was dangerous because the most powerful man in the company stood across from him and didn't shut it down. And that's the part of the story history so often forgets. John Cena didn't lose anything by helping CM Punk, but CM Punk gained everything. His credibility, his aura, his legitimacy, and his place in wrestling history were all forged in a rivalry that only worked because the biggest star in the world chose collaboration over control. That's not burial, that's quiet protection. And in the world of WWE, that's rarer and more valuable than any championship reign. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this look back at wrestling history, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. See you next time.